Sorry for the short video here, but my camera today kept slipping down. It kept falling every few minutes. I tried to readjust it, and it kept slipping down for some reason today. So wasn't able to get any one long shot of my writing. Today was, as you can see, back at the library. I tend to find that helps a lot, especially when it comes to like creative spurts where if I'm stuck, if I'm feeling a little bit off, whatever, the library usually can kind of kick me into gear. And today I went in, it was back at the keyboard for that short story. I had to get some prose on that down. I didn't get much though at all. It was off. It was off. And the reason for that very simply is I took time away from the project. I've taken probably a better part of at least a few days, at least that I've taken just to work on the blurb for the self-published story I'm going to put out later this year. And so when you do that, when you focus on the blurb, you focus, when you take your eye basically off the ball on a project, even for a couple days, your prose the first day back is always terrible, at least in my experience, which is why, part of the reason why I tend to advocate for writing a lot, right? Writing consistently, not necessarily taking a lot of days off, maybe having, one day off a week, something like that for most people. That's the reason why. It just helps. And as you can see the camera is shooting up here, panning up, and I'll cut the camera part, the feed at this point. Again, I don't know why that was. The library was it was getting annoying. For some reason, where I was filming today, there was nothing to stand it up against. So, but yeah, when you take your eye off the ball, when you take time away from a project, it's always difficult to come back to it. You need to keep the momentum going. You need to constantly come back and continue to work on the story to keep it fresh in your mind. That's one of the reasons why, someone like, say, like a Stephen King, for example, when he writes, he doesn't take days off. It helps. It helps to stay in the story. As Hemingway said, you're staying drunk on the writing. You're staying drunk on the story. You're not sobering up and looking at it with new eyes yet. And that's what it takes for a lot of these first drafts. That's what it's going to take, is just being consistent with it, not taking time away. And hey, even though I was away from the short story, as you can see, I was writing. I was still writing something, right? I was working on the blurb, for example. So yes, I was still writing every day, but because I wasn't focusing specifically on the project that I had set out to start with, because I had to sort of jump around a bit, that's what derailed me, right? That's what derailed the prose in the scenario. So I guess for at least until this short story is done, I'm going to be focusing a lot on that. I'm not going to take any more time away necessarily to work on the blurb. I'll do additional hours, maybe a second session in the evening to do more of the professional stuff with the short story. But for now, the Write Every Day's got to focus a lot on that short story, because as I just mentioned, it's difficult to take time away and come back. So until the short story is done, that's what's going to happen. I'm just going to stick with it, and hopefully within the next week or two, I'll have that done, and then I can maybe focus more on the professional side of things afterwards.